Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Life According to Sabrina. Today I'm here with my special guest, Nasia. Nasia, I'm absolutely in awe of your talent, your beautiful essence of passion that oozes from you. I really thank the day that I met you at the exhibition. So welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself to our listeners and our viewers.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Nasia, as Sabrina already mentioned. And what an introduction. I hope I can live up to your expectations.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm very thrilled to be here. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much for inviting me. Well, I think a few things that the audience should know about myself is that I am Greek, first of all. So English is not my first language. I will try to speak as best as I can. I have been using English language every day because I communicate a lot with a lot of people from around the world in English, so I hope I'll be okay. So I come from a typical Greek family. I was raised by my parents in a very healthy and safe environment in my childhood. I have an older brother, he's 2 years older, and we learned a lot through my parents. That's very important for me to share because I became a good person because of them. I learned morals and values that I carried throughout my life, and I learned how to respect people and be honest and truthful and grateful for what we've got. So yeah, my childhood was very normal, easygoing, and everything was fine for the first 2 decades of my life. Another thing that people might need to know is that I'm an artist. The last 2 decades of my life, I have been drawing a lot, and that's been a huge passion of who I am today and what brought me to who I am today, because it helped me go through many stages of my life. I am a survivor of life, and you'll probably touch that that in a bit further along our discussion. So, in one sentence, maybe I can say that I'm just a woman that has been challenged in her life. I had quite a few, a fair share of challenges, I can say. But we all have a story, right? There's a story behind everyone. And we can only use that story and learn and also teach other people something through our story. And it's important to share. That's one thing that I think is very important when you have a message that you should share it with the world. So that's a few things about me.
That's absolutely beautiful. And I'm really glad that you touched on the aspect of your art and your story, because that really leads on to my next question. What is the story behind the story that makes you the woman that you are today?
Well, the story behind the story. Well, I will start with the first 2 decades of my life. As I already said, it's been an easygoing life. So growing up, I didn't really have, I wasn't seeking for a career, a specific career. Of course, I wanted a job or something. Or I wasn't seeking for fame and wealth and all these materials that might come into your life if you follow that path. I wanted an easy life. I wanted to have my own family, my job, just a quiet, easy life. So for the first 2 decades, the direction I had in my life, that was where it was pointing in that direction. So at the age of 20 or at the age of 19, my parents actually trusted me enough, and I'm forever grateful that they did, to open up a business for me to run on my own. And I was 19 then. And at the age of 20, I got married. So you can imagine being 20 years old, have my own business, being married, everything was pointing into the direction that I will have a good life. But as we all know, life has other plans. So my life got interrupted and completely changed when I was 23. That was in 2001. I'm revealing my age, but that's okay. Anyway, so my life got interrupted. I was involved in a car accident uh, along with my husband. He was actually driving the vehicle. And we also had in the same car friends, a couple, very close friend of ours. So we were involved in a car accident that completely changed our reality. And it only took one split second for this to change. One split second was enough to challenge me physically, mentally, emotionally. I lost my friends because of that accident. They passed away, and that's the worst thing, obviously, that you can experience. And it only took one split second, that reality to change. I also was severely injured. I had third and fourth degree burns all over my body, in 74% of my body. I came very close to dying. I had to be in hospital for months and months and go under countless operations. If you ask me the number, I have no idea how many operations I had in my life. I just stopped counting. There was no point. Countless operations that made me question what was happening in my new reality, and going through all these operations, it just turned my world upside down. It was scary. I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea how I was physically anymore. It was a new body. I came very close to dying. I had to spend 3 months in the hospital, 6 months on a wheelchair. I had 2 years of intense physiotherapy, painful physiotherapy. But I am so grateful for that physiotherapy because I'm not in a wheelchair anymore, and I can do more stuff than I ever imagined I would be able to do. I have been recognized as disabled, but I don't really like the word disabled. I would probably use the word less able to do stuff, although I think I'm able to do even more stuff now. But it was a very challenging period, and it lasted for 2 years. But then again, as I said, I already have another reconstructive surgery plan, so it's a non-ending story. 19 years down the line, and I still have surgery from that accident. Well, so that passed, kind of. I accepted what happened, so I moved forward. But as I already mentioned again, life has other plans. So I was for another treat. Yes, in 2005, so that was 4 years after my accident, I was diagnosed with cancer. And that shook my reality yet again. It made me question the reason of my existence. Why was I here? What could I do with all these new things that I was introduced to? This new reality. And what this cancer meant was that the type of cancer that I was diagnosed with literally stole the chance I had to become a mother, to have children of my own. So just keep that in mind. Like, I lost my beauty because of my burns. I lost my chance of motherhood, which was my dream to have a family. So why was I here? I was just questioning everything. Why? What am I supposed to do? What's happening now? What more? All these questions were like swarming in my mind like birds. And what am I supposed to do now? And of course, after cancer, life goes on. And my next challenge was to get a divorce. So that was in a 5-year period. So to recap, these 5 years, I got injured. I lost my friends. That's the worst thing. I was diagnosed with cancer. I was disabled. I lost the chance of experience motherhood. I went through a divorce, and I decided to close my business. So all that in 5 years, because I couldn't work the way I used to before my injuries. So you can imagine I had a lot of acceptance to do, a lot of work with myself, but I did it. And that's the main thing. That's where I want to focus, that I managed and I accepted my new reality. And this is how I overcame all those obstacles, because that's what they were, obstacles. I'm still here. And that's what made me who I am today.
Wow, wow. You have completely zen me out. I admire your courage, the deep sense of commitment to yourself that you had to make is just astounding, to actually overcome divorce, cancer, losing the fact that you couldn't actually be a mother and having that as your biggest dream. I know what that feels like, because my dream was to have a family. So, you know, not being able to have the chance to do that, that's enough, let alone all the other things that you had to overcome. I think for the purpose of the listeners, it would be really beautiful if you could share, how did you learn to accept? Because I feel that in one hand we say acceptance and it sounds like it's easy, but it's one of the hardest things that anyone can do when they're encountered by one challenge, let alone the amount of challenges that you had. So could you maybe go into that a little bit, please, Nasia? Absolutely amazing.
Well, I didn't have any guidance for anyone, and I have to admit that being raised in Greece, and Greece is the medical system is okay, but they don't provide as much as they should. So I didn't have any help from any medical, psychotherapy or any therapist. So I had to work on my own, and being the person that I am, I was very shy growing up and very closed. I kept everything to myself, and I still continue to do that. But when I'm going through something very traumatic as that, I don't know why, but I just try to overcome it on my own. I never open up, not even to my mom. Maybe that's one of her complaints, but sorry, mom, that's me. But I think what helped me was to let go of the past. That was the most important thing, to let go of what happened and focus on now, what's happening now, what do I do from now on. And things happened and I can't change them. We don't have that machine that we can go back in time. And to be honest, I don't know if I would like to have that, because it has been a traumatic experience, but a learning experience as well. And I don't regret any moments. And I do believe that it takes a lot of courage to say that. And I don't say it just to say it. I actually mean it. So letting go of the past was the first step for me, as I saw that that's what I had to do to move forward. And then what I realized is, if I was constantly focusing on what happened, I felt like I was stuck in a mud of insecurity, unable to move forward. So I needed to move forward. So things happen, I can't change them, let's just go on. Then I learned how to improve my coping skills, and that's where art came into my life. I needed somewhere to point my, focus more, so I can get through the day by day, and feel better. And I found that through art. I actually started painting because the doctors recommended it as a physiotherapy. So I can start using my hands more, because my hands are very injured. And this is how art was introduced to me. So I started painting, and I felt really nice. I felt like a burden was lifted off my shoulders. I wasn't thinking as much. I was smiling more to myself. So I felt really good. And every time I was creating something, it was like a proof that life is not over. I can still create things. So that was a really important step that I made, and I still paint to this day because it has been a passion of mine for the last 20 years since my accident. And then I saw what happened to me is more meaningful. What I what I lost turned out to be the foundation of my personal growth. If that didn't happen to me, if all those events didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So I believe I'm a better person. I learned a lot through those experiences, and I try to use them, all that learning that I got, to become better. So that's the steps that I used. And I still ask the questions, what have I learned, and how can I use that learning, and what have like, I didn't know I was so strong. I have no idea that I had so much strength hidden inside me. And here it was, like, if someone said to me, you know, Nasia, that will happen to you in 2 years, blah, blah, blah. And I would say, okay, my life is over, I'll die. No, I can't make it. But unless you are faced with a challenge, you can never know how much strength you have. So bring it on. That's what I say.
Wow. Listeners, I just want to bring you back because, Nasia shared that she had to go through a divorce. She was diagnosed with cancer, was in an accident that resulted in her almost losing her life, and she lost the lives of her friend that was accompanying her. Not only did you also have to shut down your business, all these things were happening to Nasia simultaneously. They're just like one after another. It's like a domino effect. And you had every reason to give up, and then having to realize that in order to heal yourself with the cancer, you had to give up the one thing you wanted more than anything: motherhood. Now, for most of us, one of those incidents would be enough to us to say, I give up. I just can't, because it's too much. And you kept on persevering. And, my body is tingling all over, to be honest. So do forgive me if my voice is a bit shaky, because I really resonating with what you're sharing. And listeners, I want you to really take away the sheer courage, the strength. And I love the fact that you said that you didn't realize how strong you was until it happened. And it's sometimes in our darkest moments, that's when it bursts parts of us that we don't even know. And then going on to acceptance. You see, listeners, in order for us to accept, first we need to learn to just let go. And that's the first part. If we're not willing to let go and be present and just be in acceptance of what is and what could possibly happen, it's not going to take place. And Nasia, I really thank you for going so deep and being so open and vulnerable, because I have a saying, and I say this to many people, and I'm sure I bore people, but unless we're able to be very honest and open about our true problems, we will only attract a superficial solution. But your vulnerability will allow people, including myself, to really accept parts of us. And sometimes it's a situation, a health issue, and sometimes it's just us accepting us. And when you said that you lost your beauty, I couldn't help but think that the beauty that oozes out of you inside and out is what attracted me to you at that exhibition. I was in awe of you, and my kids joined, and we were just like, oh my God. And I thank you for still being in our lives. So you gained beauty beyond your wildest dreams. And I admire you, because you're able to say that in the midst of all that, you were able to create your own silver lining around, and that journey took you to art. Now, that got me thinking that I would love you to share with the viewers that can see this. I know this is a podcast. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see this, but I will leave a link, so it will connect you to the YouTube video, so you can actually watch, and you'll be able to view some of Nasia's amazing masterpieces that she's about to share with us. So Nasia, I think it'd be really nice if you can take us through a couple of your creations, and anything that resonates, share with us. Share a couple, at least 3.
Okay, so I'll share one that I don't know if it shows very well. And Sabrina, actually, you saw this up close, because I had it in the exhibition in London, and I have a special connection with trees. I love trees and all the resemblance that it has with humans. And so I painted these two trees, and they represent two people hugging each other. It's like saying, "Don't worry, we don't have any leaves on ours, on us, but things will be okay. And the spring is around the corner, and we will be reborn." So this represents my mother and myself, and she was my caregiver through my ordeal, and I feel a very, very, special connection with that painting because it represents my mother and myself. Well, another painting that I made lately, and it's based on the situation we are experiencing right now. It's called the Illusion of Reality collection, and this is the second piece. I will make another two. There's another one at the back that you can see, and it's a mountain in the background, and it's like a glass ball, and you see the reality. Like we can't go out there and experience and live and be connected with all the nature right now because we're not allowed. But this is one of the paintings because of this situation we're living, the illusion of reality. And I made another one lately that is, again, pretty much inspired by what we're going through. As you can see, it's a one-line drawing with a lot of people that are in their own box. But we like to think out of the box, and we still are connected. Thank God for internet. Yeah, so this is some of the pieces, but I have a lot of my work and collection on my webpage, as you already mentioned. People are more than free to go online, maybe subscribe and get some of the latest work that I've been doing.
Excellent. Listeners and viewers, sit tight. Towards the end, Nasia is going to definitely give you some links to how you can get in touch with her. Nasia, like as you held up the first painting, it took me back to the day I met you, because that was the first one that I saw, and we came over, it was like, oh my God. And then as you started to depict and share what the message was, what the image resonated with, I was like, wow. And this is what I love about art. And the fact that you were able to birth that at that time is absolutely magical. And I love the way you explained that, don't worry, let's hug each other, spring is coming, the rebirthing is coming. And listeners, I don't know if it's having the same effect on me, on you, as it is on me, is that that's the current situation we're in. Don't worry, spring is here and the rebirthing is taking place. I am so touched that you shared that, because you shared a different one. That is really nice that you just went with your heart. I love that. And I love the illusion one. I really love those. I really, really love those. I want to hear a lot more about those ones as well. But I loved the third one that you shared as well, talking about the gratitude around technology, how technology has been able to keep us connected around the world, obviously so I can connect with you, so you can share with the message with the world. And this is something that we can be so grateful for. It doesn't matter where we are. We all have something that we can connect and share with each other. So listeners and viewers, don't underestimate the impact that your story has on someone else. Don't underestimate that what's happening to you sometimes is actually happening for you if you actually listen to Nasia's story. At the time, I'm sure you wasn't like, yeah, bring it on. What's the next challenge? It's going to be amazing. I'm going to do this with it. You would have been absolutely crushed and devastated and depleted and fragmented. But look at you now. Look at what you're doing and look what you're sharing around the world. And I have no doubt that your message is going to touch so many in so many ways. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it really brings me on to my next question, Nasia, with regards to what would you say are the 3 biggest lessons that you've learned in your life?
Wow, that's a very good question. Well, the biggest lesson is that I know we hear it all the time. People are mentioning it all the time. You find it all over the quotes. But life is precious. That's what I've learned. Life is a gift. And this is how we should take care of life, or our life, as a gift. It's so precious. It's like a treasure. And it can change in one split second. That's the other lesson that I learned, that we shouldn't take anything for granted. Things change and it only takes one split second. And I can tell that with my own experience, because that's all it took for me, one split second. And obviously we can't foresee what the future holds. And for me, staying calm and focused and with the right mindset and healthy, positive attitude, I feel like I can deal with anything that's coming. So I would say that's the three most important lessons that I learned. And acceptance, of course, accepting is a huge part of it, because accepting the new reality, what comes, that will help you go forward.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Nasia. And listeners, again, take notes. Please take notes and connect it to your own personal journey. I love the fact that you really touched on it's like our darkest moments remind us that we don't live forever. And this is a gift, and to be present. Be open to change. Be open to, immersing yourself into that natural process that life offers us. And you're quite right. It's just sometimes we forget to be grateful or have the essence that, I woke up today. People go like, what have I got to be grateful for? And, we get into these conversations, but you woke up. We take it for granted thinking, well, I'm going to wake up every single day, but that's not the case. And when you have experiences such as yours, it causes us to humble ourselves and just realize that this isn't a constant. This is actually a gift. And every moment I get to spend here is a gift. And I'm going to choose to spend it that way. Nasia, I think that's absolutely beautiful. I really, I really just hope that the listeners tap into the essence of what they can also contribute, because we all have our unique stories to share, and together sharing our stories, it strengthens each other in ways that we could possibly not even fathom. The next thing I wanted to actually discuss with you is, what part of you did you feel that you most had to learn to accept in order to allow yourself to become?
That's a very good question as well. Well, I will use a quote from Nathaniel Branden that said, the first step towards change is awareness, and the second step is acceptance. And he was so right. So for me, accepting not being accepted was a huge part of who I am today, because it was a real challenge to accept that I wasn't accepted by my husband. So once I did that, I felt happy. I felt liberated. I felt like I can start living again. And that's what I did. So that was the most learning, the biggest learning lesson and the accepting lesson that I had to do and overcome. So I accepted my new reality. I accepted myself, who I was, and what I could offer, and the person I turned out to be after all these experiences. And then I accepted that I wasn't accepted by anyone, by my husband or whoever didn't accept me for whatever reason. And that helped me move forward. I can also say that accepting that I had to replan my life, dream all over again, change my dreams. That was a huge part as well, because I couldn't do the things that I was planning from a young age. Have the family that I always dreamt of, but I can still have a very fulfilling and happy life, and I do. I am actually very happy and very happy with my life and how it turned out. And I accepted that not everyone is born to be a parent. So I have 3 nieces and 4 godchildren. So I have more children than I was hoping to have on my own.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Oh my God, sorry to interrupt you there. That's so beautiful. Wow.
I love my godchildren. I have 4 the youngest is 3 years old, the older is 23, and I, I try to have a connection with all of them, and it's beautiful. I enjoy every single moment I spend with them, and every talk, and it's been amazing. And so I get what I need as a person from where I can get it. I find different ways. So I made new dreams, new plans, and I follow the new dreams and the new plans to have a happy life, to have a good, fulfilling life, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Wow, beautiful.
And also, I think that accepting myself uh, the way I am was the key to my reinvention, actually. I feel like I was reborn in a new person after all these challenges. Sorry to interrupt you, Sabrina.
You have not interrupted at all. I have to silence myself because the listeners would love to hear your story, and I am in awe. And I just bubbled up with excitement halfway through that. I'm so sorry. You know what came to mind is that you got to live your dream in a different way, and it's like you said, it's more children than you would have possibly have had, and it's so amazing how life will gift us what we desire in the most beautiful way. And oh yeah, that really touched me. That really, really touched me. And I'm enjoying speaking to you. You actually have no idea. I'm trying to contain myself because I have to stay within the box of the camera. But your journey that you're sharing is so touching. It's so connective on so many different layers that people, I love what you said about the acceptance, when that the first answer with regards to learning to accept that some will not accept me. Now, that touched me in such a way, primarily because it's within the confines of our mindset that most of our pain happens. It's not so much what's going on the outside, but in us trying to struggle and push and pull, you need to like me, you need to love me, you need to accept me. Actually, they don't. Maybe you just need to accept that they don't. And oh God, oh, I feel that is such a beautiful message to share, because I went through my life and it took me a long time to accept myself. I know many women that have struggled with that. I know many men that have struggled with that. And if people can learn that message early on in their life, I'm telling you, you get so much life back. You know, not wanting parents to accept you or accept your dream, not wanting a partner to accept you, not wanting a family or friends or the entire world. The truth is, some are going to like it and some are not. And the sooner you can connect with that, the better. I thank you so much, Nasia, because I know that this message is going to touch so many. I'm really choked up, and I'm not going to edit this out because I want this to be the essence of rawness. I think as human beings, our authenticity is the greatest gift ever. And for you to journey in such a way that you have and be able to touch so many through your art, through your beauty, through your message, I thank you for that. I really do. Oh God, it's beautiful.
It's been an amazing experience just to be here with you. It's so nice to see you. And as you said, we all have a story. We have a saying in Greek, but it's not very understandable if I try to translate it. But I will try. If you try to find someone to listen to what you're going through, be careful, because they might have an even stronger story than yours. So we all have something. Yeah. Everyone is called to face some kind of challenge, and you know, it's very important to learn from that as much as we can and use that learning that we got to become better. I think that's very important.
I think that's beautiful. I wonder if I could perhaps get out of you, encourage you to share it in your mother tongue, because you know, we've got listeners all around the world, and I guess it will touch the heart in such a deeper way when they actually hear it. It'd be beautiful.
Okay, in Greek it's πήγα να πω τον πόνο μου και βρήκα μεγαλύτερο. That's in Greek. That's the
Beautiful.
phrase.
Thank you so much. And I thank you. And I love, this is a very good demonstration with only our truth sets us free. And in the setting ourselves free, you can touch many hearts. I love that, the transparency of that story. Thank you so much. The next thing that is pondering on my mind is, what did you have to be willing to unlearn? So I know that you had to accept, but I'm guessing, like you said, you had to redream, you had to recreate, you had to do so many rebirthing of self. But what parts of you did you kind of had to unlearn in order for you to relearn certain aspects of how I'm going to go forward in life?
It's actually pretty simple, the things that I had to unlearn. I had to unlearn or relearn that I don't need to be perfect. That's been such a valuable lesson. I don't need to be perfect. I can do my best, try to be the best I can, but it's okay not to be perfect. And also to smile more. I remember that I wasn't smiling as much when I was young. Not that I had any worries or anything. I was just not that person. You know, there's some people that they keep on smiling, and that's I love them. I want to be one of them. So I learned that smiling more makes life easier. It makes you more approachable. It makes you deal with what's coming easier. It makes a huge difference. So smile more. And I try to do that. I try to smile more, even with the simple stuff, even with the, you know, I'm going to the gym, for example, and I have a really strict trainer. And I'm in pain every time because I stretch a lot and I need the exercise because of my burns and everything. So I'm laughing myself out. She says, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "When I'm in pain, I laugh. Just if I'm laughing, you know, I'm in pain. If I'm silent, you know, it's just okay. It's just an exercise." So I just love people that are smiling, and I want to be one of those people that keep on smiling and bring, you know, this light and brightens up your day if you see people that are around you smiling. So that's what I've been doing. I have been challenging myself to smile more and be more open and share more. That's been also a very difficult thing for me, as I was very shy and closed and when I was growing up. So I joined Toastmasters to be able to open up more and share my story, because I think I have a valuable lesson, especially when it comes to driving. That's where I'm focusing, and I'm trying to be an advocate on safe driving. And actually, I was invited in high schools this year, and this is one of my highlights of the year. I have been invited to high schools to give presentations to children about safe driving. And I managed to give 3 presentations before the lockdown. And it has been an amazing experience. And I wouldn't be doing that if all this didn't take place. So learn the new reality and live the new realities, I think, what we need to do.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful and touching, and just so relatable. Listeners and viewers, I really just invite you to breathe. I imagine some of us are just like I was holding my breath at some points. It's just breathe it in, and just allow this what Nasia is sharing to saturate every cell in your body, and smile more. I love the expression of smile because it's a universal. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter what you do and don't understand. We all understand the smile. And art is pretty much the same way. It's an expression that is languageless. It surpasses all of those boundaries and restrictions that we tend to put in out there. So isn't it interesting how through your trauma, you birthed the essence of universal language to help people connect and smile and love more? And I thank you for that. Wow. Nasia, we're coming to a close, and the question that's on my heart, not so much of a question, it's more of a prompt if possible. What heartfelt message would you like to leave the listeners and viewers with?
Heartfelt message. Well, I just want everyone to embrace themselves and accept themselves the way they are, but also accept others the way they are. It's very important to accept other people and give them that feeling that it's okay not to be perfect, and it's okay to have flaws, or it's. I think it gives you a new sense of reality and existence when you don't judge people, because acceptance, it's also not judging other people, and that's very important. Just accept everyone the way they are, and if you can deal with that, fine. If you can't, just walk away. And that has to do with business, work, relationships, in every aspect of our life. Acceptance is a huge part. What I learned from my own experience, and also that every split second matters. Every split second should not go to waste. And just don't be stuck in the past and move forward. That's what I would like to share.
That's beautiful. I'm not even going to add to that. I would love you as listeners and viewers to really digest that message with the purity of where it came from, Nasia's heart. Nasia, to close, I wonder if you can let the listeners and viewers know how they can reach out to you, how they can connect with you, how they can get exposure to your amazing art pieces. I know that you've got them in galleries, you're at exhibitions. Please just divulge all of that, please.
Well, I have a webpage. It's my name. I don't know if people will understand how my name is written, but they can find it on my video right now. NasiaHouvarda.com. That's my webpage, so they can find my art. You can also reach me on Facebook. My profile is Nasia XOU, and also on Instagram, Nasia Houvarda underline art is my Instagram account. So feel free to reach out, and I'm more than willing to speak with anyone that would like to have a talk with me. That would be excellent.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, listeners, viewers. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. And Nasia, from me to you, I thank you for joining me in this space. I thank you for being so authentic, so transparent, so open, because that is a true gift to yourself and to others. And I thank you for allowing me to be a part of the listenership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sabrina. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.